Okay, hi. So I'm Shinobi Shaw. I'm not going to be linking this to any of my other social media anythings, because while I am an atheist and I do really appreciate all of the out and open atheists who use their real names and are able to create channels and communities and so forth to bring positive atheism to the world of YouTube. A great deal of my family is not particularly keen on the idea. So, for the time being, this is just going to be my little thing where I'm going to talk to people from time to time about positive atheism, about finding their way out of religions, about mental health issues, especially as they pertain to finding your way in or out of situations where you may be involved in a religion, cult, or any other not quite right thing. Just a little bit of background info. I deal with schizophrenia. I deal with anxiety, apart from the paranoia of schizophrenia, and I also deal with clinical depression. Now, the thing is here that I was raised in a Native American tradition. I look pretty white on here, don't I? But here's the thing. There are a lot of Native people out there who don't look like the Native people you see in the movies. I am also part French, part German, Scotch-Irish. So, I mean, here we are. But anyway, through my own issues with mental illness and my own trials and tribulations pushing through that, I found out a lot about what I once thought was my religion. It turns out I was being gaslit for years by people in my family because I was seeing, hearing, and believing things that were pretty irrational. Now, in a lot of families, that would have been, hey, we should probably get this guy, I don't know, some help, or looked at least by someone qualified. But in my family, it was, oh no, you're seeing through the veil to the other side, or these are our ancestors speaking to you, and the fact that you can hear their call is special, things like that. But here's the thing. It's not. I was suffering from schizophrenia from my early teen years all the way until the time I was about 30, without any diagnosis. And I was suffering psychotic breaks every 1 to 3 years, probably, now looking back on it. But I wasn't getting any help. I wasn't getting medicated. And once I had a really serious psychotic break one night at home after I had come home from my second shift job, my wife found me catatonic on the couch. She immediately took me to the hospital, and I kind of came to there. I spent a couple of weeks not really being able to speak, at least not in a meaningful way. And it took me a long time to kind of put my my brain back together after that. I know that's not the hugest and most glowing endorsement in terms of believing anything I have to say. However, that shock and that introduction into getting qualified help and learning to understand that I have schizophrenia and my various other issues almost immediately destroyed and shattered my faith, because I came to realize that the things I had believed The things that my whole life everyone had been telling me were a blessing were in fact a result of my mental illness. And when you take away every piece of evidence of someone's faith from them, it tends to break pretty catastrophically and pretty quickly. So, here I am. Granted, I'm sitting in my living room using the camera in my laptop to record this first video. I do have a recording space downstairs which I use for other projects. And starting with my next video, I will be using said setup and actually delivering somewhat of a quality video, at least as so far as I can afford to produce currently. So here's the thing. My main issue right now with religion and with faith, I guess I have kind of two that I want to talk about tonight. The first one is, as I've said, I suffer from mental illness. And I think that there are a lot of people who suffer from mental illness who are being gaslit by their families or by the leader of their church, etc. And the things that they really need to be seeking help for, the things they need to get on proper medication for, are being posed to them in a way that makes them believe that they're a special person and God has a special plan just for you because you have this ability. If you see and hear shit that you're not supposed to, I guess, if you see and hear shit that no one else does, you probably ought to talk to somebody. At least get evaluated. I'm not saying check yourself into a mental institution. I would never suggest that for anyone unless they pose a risk to the safety and well-being of themselves or others. All I'm saying is, if you hear things and you see things that nobody else does, you just might need to talk to somebody who actually understands mental illness and can get you help. I learned that the hard way. I spent most of my life believing that I was some special something or other that could commune with spirits. And when I found out it was all mental illness, that was a long road getting me back to trusting anything, for that matter. My other thing, and this has actually come up recently with some friends and family, you should not give any power that you believe may be credit for the things you have accomplished in your life. You should not give any power that you think may be even to any extent, to any extent, a high five for helping you through something. Because, let's be honest, regardless of your faith, regardless of whether you have faith in a God or not, when it comes down to it, you are responsible for the good things you've done. If you had a horrible experience and you feel like, man, I really pushed through this and I couldn't have done it without God, I've pulled myself up by my bootstraps more times than I can count. Until I finally just hit a point where I can't really do a whole lot of that anymore. So, here it is. God is not someone that you can give all of the credit for for every good thing in your life, for every accomplishment you have made. And the other side of that is don't ever feel like you are responsible for the bad shit that happens to you. Like it's some kind of a test, or this is a lesson that the Lord is teaching me. This is a lesson that the Creator needs me to learn. It's not. When shitty things happen to you, it's because shitty things happen to people. When you do well, when you really have some great adversity that you've overcome, don't give away that credit. You did that. You did it. And if it took you reaching into your faith to do it, that doesn't mean you didn't do it. You just found a way to give yourself the strength you needed to make it happen. It's a placebo effect. If you think that there's a God out there that is going to help you through things, it can be very comforting. In my former faith, however, it was put to me like this. If you give literally every single ounce of everything you have in you to try to accomplish something, and you're just not quite capable of getting there, that the Creator would step in and take you that last footstep. Maybe one of the reasons this is such a big issue for me is that I've found that in many religions, that's not so much the doctrine, and even in my former faith, it's not realistic. However, it is comforting. But think about it. If you give every last ounce of anything you have to make something work for you, for someone you care about, you probably don't need God to pick up that last footstep, because you've probably managed to do it on your own strength, whether that be physical, mental, emotional. It's you. You pushed. You gave all you had. And you accomplished something. Don't accept all the blame for things that go wrong. Don't give away all the credit when things go right. You are your own person. Everything you do matters to someone. Whether that someone is you, a family member, a friend, a stranger. Look at it this way. Whatever you do, if you want to know what the right and moral option is, think about this for a moment. Is option A, option B, option zeta, zeta, beta, phi, whatever, is this the option that carries the greatest chance of being a net positive for humanity? Whether you're talking about just you, whether you're talking about a guy who stands near the entrance of a store and asks you if you could help him out with just whatever change you've got in your pocket, so that, he can gather enough over the course of the day to eat, maybe find a hotel if he's lucky for one night, feed his dog, or hell, even if he's gonna spend it on alcohol, you don't know their life. You don't know what they have to deal with. Sometimes the best thing you can do, the most net positive thing for humanity you can do, is hand the guy a 5, a 10, a 20 even, and just say, make yourself as comfortable as you can. That's it. I'll be back. This is going to become a regular thing. But listen, from now until the next time we talk, you know what? Just be good to people. If you're having issues where you think you might not be experiencing reality the way the people around you are, get help. And if you're in a religion that says that doing these things is somehow wrong, or being compassionate toward people who are different from you, that's wrong, whether it be a matter of race, nationality, ethnicity, skin color, language, whether they're part of the LGBTQ community, anything. Take this thought experiment. In your head, create a world that you're 100% okay with living in. But there's one stipulation. You have no idea how you're going to come out. You don't know what country you'll be born in. You don't know what the color of your skin will be, your sexual orientation, your gender identity. Nothing. You know nothing. You're just born as random happenstance in this world, same as you are in this one. But you think of a world where no matter what your circumstances of birth, you can be happy and content and have a good life. And then roll the dice. See where you end up. And if it ends up being someplace or somewhere or some situation that you can't abide, apply that to this world. Think about it really hard. And just see how fair you think that world is now. Like I said, I'll be back around. And I'd like to talk to you. So if you have any comments, any observations, any perceived flaws in anything I've said, please put them up there. We'll talk about it. But in the end, it's all a crapshoot. And where you end up has very little to do with any decision that you've ever made. Good night, and good luck.